Dear esteemed colleagues of the Lantos Foundation for Human Rights and Justice, the Goldberg-Polin family, and honored guests, I'm so deeply humbled to receive the Lantos Human Rights Prize today. And I dedicate it to our son, James Wright Foley, and to all brave journalists whose moral courage and truth-seeking protects our freedom. Whenever people gather to defend human rights, I feel that Jim is close beside me. For those who may not know his story, Jim was the oldest of our 5 children. Curious, kind, always reading, always listening. Journalism wasn't simply a profession for him, it was a calling. He believed every person deserved dignity, and he devoted his life to telling the stories of people whose voices are so often ignored. In 2012, while reporting in Syria, Jim was kidnapped. For nearly 2 years, he was beaten, starved, and tortured. Yet he never lost his hope and his compassion. In August of 2014, Jim was publicly beheaded for being an American journalist. I was shocked and angry. Throughout his captivity, our government had continually assured me that Jim was their highest priority. But the truth was far more painful. Our government had refused to negotiate with the terrorists holding him and the 3 other Americans. All 4 were abandoned by our country, and none of them ever came home. That betrayal convinced me that something had to change so that no other American family would endure what we did. However, it makes me so sad because I know others do, like Rachel and John today. I knew that our country had to do better, but I was just a family nurse practitioner and a grieving mother. I had no background in government policy or advocacy. All I had was my voice and God's and Jim's challenge to use it for good. Jim aspired to be a man of moral courage. He knew that journalists must seek the truth, dare to report it, and confront injustice, no matter the cost. That same conviction that our country must prioritize the return of Americans held captive abroad and protect our journalists led me to found the James W. Foley Legacy Foundation 3 weeks after his murder. I would like to share briefly what we do in his name because this work is so urgently needed. Most of us don't realize how often fellow Americans are targeted abroad, taken hostage, or wrongfully arrested. Our journalists, educators, businessmen and women, aid workers, tourists. At this moment, at least 40 fellow Americans are held captive in 17 countries around the world. When invited, the Foley Foundation walks beside these families from the moment their loved one is taken until the moment we pray they can come home. We provide confidential support, help families reach decision makers, guide them through impossible bureaucracy to ensure that their loved ones' cases are never forgotten. We publish the only independent research grounded in victims' lived experiences, research that exposes policy failures and drives real lasting reform. And across administrations, we work to hold our government accountable, to do everything possible to bring our Americans home. In the 11 years since Jim's murder, we have helped secure the safe return of more than 170 Americans. Each homecoming Each of those homecomings is its own true miracle. But our work does not end with hostages, because Jim knew that press freedom is foundational to our democracy. He became a journalist to defend that freedom and to stand up to those who would silence the truth. Today, journalists around the world face detention, censorship, and violence simply for doing their job. That is why the Foley Foundation has developed journalist safety education for aspiring journalists and freelancers who too often lack the resources needed to protect themselves when trying to seek the ground truth. We partner worldwide to defend press freedom wherever it is threatened. But underpinning all of our work is Jim's challenge to be people of moral courage. He believed that every person deserves freedom, every story matters, and each of us has a responsibility to act when confronted with injustice. At its core, Jim's legacy and that of the Honorable Tom Lantos point to a deep moral courage. The quiet, steady force within, which calls each of us to choose compassion when anger tempts us, to choose to speak out when it's easier to be silent, and to hold on to hope when everything around us seeks to extinguish it. Moral courage disturbs us, challenges us, and ultimately defines us. Each of us in this room has a chance right now to make a choice that brings hope, protection, and freedom to others. The work of the Lantos Foundation and the Foley Foundation is only possible because good people like you refuse to look away. People who believe that every human being caught in a hostage crisis deserves a chance for a miracle. We desperately need real heroes like Congressman Tom Lantos, Hersh Goldberg-Polin, and Jim Foley. We need their goodness, their strength, and their moral courage. If their stories move you, if you believe in protecting American lives, if you believe in the essential role of a free press, I invite you to stand with us. Support our work. Help us defend human rights. Help us bring fellow Americans home. Help keep journalists safe. Help ensure their legacy continues to inspire moral courage throughout our troubled world. Thank you for being here today and for believing in the dignity and freedom of every human being. As the Honorable Tom Lantos reminded us, the veneer of civilization is paper thin. We are its guardians, and we can never rest. Thank you so much.